I think it must have been 75 or something. And what would happen is my father would come to the highway. Our land touches Mombasa Road. So they would come to salute the president as he's driving past. So my father and my mother are standing on the highway because they've been told he's coming down, I think from radio. So the presidential motorcade is passing. And the president glances because he knows Ndolo's land and he sees him. And the motorcade stops.
Before Jomo Kenyatta dies, when we're coming even back to Moi,
yes,
I want to hear about your father. Who is this man? Explaining to us.
So, I believe I'll start you from the beginning. I'm not sure if he had the dates right or the years right, but the man would say he was born in 1919 in a part of Makueni, very close to what we now know as a county headquarter in Makueni, a place called Wote, very close to Wote. Of a family of 2 wives and many children. There were many. He was exposed slightly to education, but largely an illiterate man. He was a good hunter and a good dancer. Kamba dance, popular. Oh yes, Kwanzaa, and that one is not the guitar one. That's the one of the drums and the whistle.
Okay.
And they say he was known over the ridges. Then the popularity was a ridge. This ridge of Kilimani, then Kileleshwa was another ridge. So they say over the ridges he was known as a famous dancer. In the early 20s, more so in the 30s, Second World War. So people are being recruited to join the King's African Rifles to go and fight in the war. There was a neighbor of theirs who was working for the King's African Rifles. My father, in a way, maybe I relate with some of the things he was passionate about. He was a good dresser. He liked to look good. So this guy comes and he's in shorts, the ironed, they used to iron them with a starch, and the shirt, and he's neat. And I'm told, then Mzee used to say, he looked at that man and he said, whatever this man does is what I want to do.
Oh, wow.
I like the way he looks, smart, neat. And so he got to know that the man was a member of the King's African Rifles. So him and his best friend, they come up with a scheme and they say, we are going to go and recruit in the King's African Rifles. And the story gets to his father, my grandfather. And my grandfather is livid. He says, well, you're doing what? You're doing what? And Mzee is adamant. My Mzee is adamant. And my grandfather says, I will disinherit you. And my father left for Tanzania.
Wow.
And he never inherited land from his father. My father never passed on land to us that he had inherited from his father.
Wow.
Yes.
Your grandfather was upset because he was going to fight with the whites?
Just leaving home.
Oh, just leaving home.
Yeah, where are you going?
Okay. What's
his madness? His elder brother.
Then he's going to fight in Tanganyika, Tanzania.
Yes, you go and recruit in Tanganyika. In fact, the recruitment, I think, center was in Tanga. So he leaves the village home. His elder brother was working for the railway in a town called Makindo. General Ndolo's name is not Ndolo.
Huh?
No, his name is Musiemi. So he goes to Makindo, he steals his brother's kipande. Because you have to be recruited with a kipande, fingerprint, thumbprint. Yeah. So my uncle...
again,
yes.
New generation that may not understand this.
Yes.
A kipande is an ID.
It's an ID, no photo.
Yes.
Thumbprint and name, signed by the local chief or whoever. So my uncle's name is Ndolo. My father's name is Musiemi. So he steals his brother's ID with his best friend, and they walk to Tanga. At night, they climb up a tree and sleep. During the day, they come down, they go. He tells a story. They were chased by a buffalo up a tree. They had to sleep up there.
Hold on, they are walking?
Yeah. I mean, in the 20s, the 30s.
They're walking to TZ.
Yeah, to Tanga. They've been told it's in that direction. And there were those routes.
Yes.
So they walked with his best friend. They carried some food, it ran out. He made me laugh. He said he was eating while they knew the berries to eat. You learn, this one you can eat, this one you can't eat. So they knew the berries to eat along, wild berries. So he gets to Tanga. When he gets to Tanga, he goes for recruitment. He doesn't make it.
Whoa.
He's malnourished and thin.
Trek.
Gets a job in a hotel, cooking mandazi. He used to boast to me he knows how to cook mandazis. So now he's cooking and eating the same food. So body bails out, goes for the second recruitment, and he's taken. Joins the King's African Rifles, get trained, fought in Burma.
Just hold on. At this time,
yes,
for context, is there Kenya in Tanzania or is it British colony?
It's a colony.
So there's no boundaries haven't been set.
Those ones are formed after independence. So it's still the King's African Rifles.
So East Africa,
yes,
which has Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania.
Those boundaries didn't exist yet.
What it was called what?
It was the Protectorate.
The British Protectorate.
Yes. It was a company, remember?
Guy.
So they get onto the ship and they're taken to Burma. And they fight in the war in Burma. And the people he had left here with die in the war. And they come back. He fought in Ethiopia. They called Abyssinia.
Yeah.
Yes, he fought in those two wars. And then the war ends. And then we go into the independence space. And when we go to independence...
Is he rewarded?
No, your ranks. If you look at the photo you shared,
yeah,
you'll see the ranks. Those are decorations. Every decoration represents a particular award. So you'll see. And how you know a person who has been to war is you see his chest is full. Decorations right across.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so every time you accomplish something, you get a decoration. So he was heavily decorated.
Okay.
So he goes to the war and comes back. Idi Amin was part of the King's African Rifles. There are people who joined the King's African Rifles and did not continue as soldiers. At wartime when you're recruited, some people go back to civilian life. So like Paul Ngei fought in the Second World War, but did not continue in the military life, retreated to civilian life, went on to be a minister under Jomo Kenyatta's government.
Wow.
But my father, the late General Mulinge, and other generals continued in the war, after the war continued the military.
Yes.
And continued to climb. So here we're going into independence. And the officers who are running the military within East Africa are the British. So you have Muzungu officers at the helm. So at independence, there was a guy called Penford here. He was the chief of army. So my dad is then colonel. So now you have to go back to your countries. Amin was here training. He went to Uganda. My father was in Tanga, comes back to Kenya. And he's the top among the Kenyan indigenous Africans in terms of rank. Mulinge is immediately after him. And so he then climbs, when Penford retires, to be the first African Major General in East Africa.
So in English, he's the highest commanding officer.
Yes.
In the military.
In Kenya.
In Kenya.
Correct.
So he is extremely pivotal in terms of the security of the country.
Yes.
And also Jomo Kenyatta's survival. And
in fact, the foundation of the military that we enjoy today was crafted then. A simple thing like the uniform, you see the band wearing, the hat, the calabash monkey, all those things were decided then. The units, how they were formed. He was the man behind the pioneering of the Forces Memorial Hospital that is on Bagathi Road.
Yeah.
Those are all now, so that foundation of the military was him and the officers, the early officers who rose to the top of the army then. Even the Africanization. Now, he was a beneficiary of the affirmative action that came after independence.
Affirmative action meaning black Africans getting positions.
Being elevated.
Yes.
And so Mzee was one of the beneficiaries, hence climbing to the top and quickly, and then occupying an office that they abolished later, which they called the Chief of Defense Staff. not the chief of general staff. Yeah, chief of defense, which means it was a step above the generals.
Yeah.
Because defense encompasses the police and who and who and who. And we had the Minister of Defense back then, and the PS, the late Kiraini. Those were the guys he worked with. And so he ascended to the top.
You're born at this time?
I'm born now. When
does he meet your mom?
He
decides to get a kafamo?
He married. Now my mother is a third wife.
Yeah, because he gets a mob.
17 children.
Your dad.
So this guy goes to the war. His father is unhappy with him. His father thinks this man will not leave offspring. He'll go and die in the war. Marries a wife in absentia.
Huh?
Yes. Culturally, it was done. I think she had 2 kids, if not 3. I think 2 kids. But culturally, the child that carried your name was your child, inherited you, carried the family bloodline.
He marries him a wife?
Yes.
In absentia?
In absentia. So he comes home, he's got a woman, he's told that's your wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And does she have kids?
She has 2, and then she ends up to have another 4. Total of 6. 2
All
boys
his?
And 4. He claims they were not his kids. To me, I was 20 when he passed. We would talk a lot about driving. We had a bit to drink, and he would start talking about it. His past. Talked about the war. He told me how he saw people dying. He talked about ships being blasted in the ocean as they are entering port. He doesn't know how to swim. He watched fellow officers drown, and he would start singing. There's a song he would sing, and then when he'd sing it, he'd remove a handkerchief and start, blowing his nose.
PTSD was real, huh?
Yeah. He would talk about the war. He would sing, Mondonda kusa ngayate kwena, and then on and on. Some Kambas know the song. And then he would remove a handkerchief, he'd blow his nose. And I'm driving him. We're driving in the evening. We've come from Nairobi, driving to Sultan Ahmed. And then after that, he'd go quiet. Because he sings the song, quiet. And he'd be quiet till we get to Sultan.
Wow.
So maybe he had started talking, he's taken a bit of beer, so he starts singing maybe 30 minutes into the trip or 20 minutes. We've got another half hour to go, then he's quiet. After the song, no more story. Talkative guy like me, but now no story. It's quiet now. Quiet till we get to the farm. And quiet that whole night. So I suppose he would walk down memory lane.
So first wife, I've gotten that.
First wife.
His own father.
Then second wife. Second wife, he married himself. He helped a family that were neighbors with him, and they suggested he takes their daughter as a wife. He married a second wife. Had 2 boys, 4 girls. One of the girls from that family is the owner of the Lukenya group of schools. My big sister, the wife of the late Justice Kasanga Mulwa. She's a trailblazer completely. She has a university, private university in somewhere near Mutito Andei. Just an amazing entrepreneur. And then my father was crazy about her because she was like him. She's just a go-getter. My big sister, half sister. So he has 6. Then now my mother. Now, a lot of times when he would talk about this, he would say, these are the 2 wives he married, number 2 and number 3. And actually my mother and my stepmother lived under one roof for several years before he moved with my mother to where he'd be posted in the barracks and eventually into the shamba he bought in Sultan Ahmed in 1968. And we grew up largely together. The children from mama number 2 and number 3 spent a lot of time together. We grew up together. We would go to school family trips together. We were in the same schools, So and to a lot of people, you couldn't tell that these children are from 2 different mothers. Particularly people who are not close to the family, because they'd see us in primary school or in secondary school. So that's the story of the general.
Okay. And when do you come in this mix now?
So now in 64 is me. I'm second last.
Second last.
Yes. From the third and last wife. So the last born is my kid bro who passed on in 2013. David. So David is last born and I'm second last.
Wow.
So I'm a baby in the family. So I'm the second last born. And I'm lucky to have spent some time with him in the last 3 or so years of his life.
Yeah.
Spending personal time with him.
What was your relationship like?
We were very close. Driving him, spending days with him. The day he died in a car accident, people thought I was in the car because they couldn't remember seeing him without me.
Oh.
Anywhere he would go, they knew Machoine is driving him. So we became very close. And because of that, we became very close with my mother. My mother was diagnosed with meningitis in 1981 and TB of the brain, late 81. She was in hospital for all of 81 and most of 82 up to, I think, September, admitted. She was discharged and she struggled. She took her almost 7 months of physiotherapy, walking with crutches to be able to be upright and walk again. She lost a lot of her skills. She couldn't drive as well as she used to, but she gradually recovered. So we became very close. So my mother comes out of hospital in 92 and my father dies in a car accident in 84.
Oh.
So I'm thrust into the family business and I'm working with my mother. And that is a journey that went all the way to her death in 2024, just the other day, at a ripe age of 86 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your father, because of his rank,
Yes.
had to have a very strong relationship with the government of Kenya.
True.
And particularly the president.
True.
What's that like? Or do you have any stories like the one you shared about him and Moi?
Yes.
But even in terms of a working of this country, by the time
Yes.
you're telling me he's been told he was leading up to a coup.
Yes.
This
is a very interesting part of the history of the general. So in 1971, there's a buzz that there's a coup. 1971. And General Ndolo is implicated in it, alongside some politicians and some officers. He is not detained, neither is he jailed, but some people are jailed. A trial is held and the member of parliament for Yatta implicates my father and he's jailed.
Wow.
When I talk to my mother, it's a conversation I couldn't have with my father. I wouldn't even know where to start. But later, after he had passed, when I had that conversation with my mother, she had a different version. She says, yes, there was a coup. And yes, there was agitation on the ground. But she says, my father was not supporting it. She says, his biggest crime might have been to trivialize it. Why would he trivialize it? He comes from the infantry ranks. Infantry meaning askari ya miguu. You're not an artillery guy. You're not a signal guy. You don't come from what we call the professional field. You are a soldier who's guarded gates and what have you. So he came from those ranks. Now, if you think back in the 60s and towards the end of the 60s, the bulk of our soldiers was largely illiterate, semi-literate. And him and a few of the other officers had seen war. So to the ordinary soldier, you're a hero. They had a lot of respect for you because they would call you a wartime general. You have seen war.
Wartime.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my mother would say, Mzee used to say to her that if the soldiers wanted to follow a wartime general, it wouldn't be difficult. Because this is a soldier who's seen war. Yeah, if he told them now, let's take this thing, it wouldn't be that difficult. And this is after the 69 oathing. So there's discontent nationally. There's people unhappy with the Kikuyu. So if he was hell-bent on taking power through the gun, and it was happening all around us in Africa,
he could have done it.
It wouldn't have been that hard. The people who are mentioned in the military, in records, are officers. There's a particular Luo officer in the Air Force, an educated officer. Again, the story is that the educated officers looked down on the illiterate officers. So they didn't quite get along. So to cobble something like that successfully, illiterate officers being the senior ones, and these educated guys being the young and newbies, it's unlikely it would succeed. And that led to the fact that, yes, they talk about a coup, not a single shot was fired in any barracks, unlike in 82 when there was gunfire. And then to also, now the questions I would have in my mind, sometime in the 70s, Jomo Kenyatta is driving to Mombasa. I think it must have been 75 or something. And what would happen is my father would come to the highway. Our land touches Mombasa Road. So they would come to salute the president as he's driving past. So my father and my mother are standing on the highway because they've been told he's coming down, I think from radio. So the presidential motorcade is passing. And the president glances, because he knows Ndolo's land, and he sees him. And the motorcade stops. And my mother tells him, say, go and greet your boss. This is a man who's been retired. He walks up, salutes his boss. Your Excellency, how are you? How are the cows? Oh, well, good. And drives on. Fast forward, there's an agriculture show in Mombasa. My father was very passionate about breeding. He goes to Mombasa, he has a stand in Mombasa, and his cow, one of the cows he's presented, wins. And Jomo is doing the rounds, and he comes. Stops there for a while, the photos are taken. So my mother kept saying she never saw that supposed animosity that would come out of that. Now, let me even take you a little further. And the reason I'm doing this is because a few years back, the nation started getting adventurous, writing stories about the man who wanted to be general, was fired in disgrace and all that. And I had to go and say to Mutuma Matthew and tell him, look, I'm going to sue you guys. Because you're saying this man died in disgrace, he was fired. Did you know that he was paid pension? Did you know that my mother continued picking pension? Did you know that in 1982, my mother was admitted in the Forces Memorial Hospital? Did you know that in the military barracks, a politician is not allowed access? Did you know that my father would go, with myself driving him, to go and visit my mother? And from the gate, the moment he's at the gate and they've identified him, they would tell the medical commander that there's a general in the compound. By the time we are parking the car and getting out of the car, the commander, the head of that medical battalion, has left his office. He's waiting for us at the entrance to the building. And he's going to walk us to the ward. Those are not accorded. All that is not accorded to somebody who supposedly left in a huff. Did you know that? These were questions I asked Mutuma Matthew. When the general died in 1994 in a car accident, that we were given a military hearse to transport the body from Nairobi with 2 motorbikes, military police, overrider escort, all the way to Sultan. Did you also know, and this I was asking Mutuma, that when he was buried, the military buried their general. They were 2 officers dressed in what we call a red tunic who blew the beagle as we lowered the body into the grave. That all the force commanders, Army commander, CGS Army commander, Air Force commander, all of them came, even retired officers, to salute the general. In civilian, not in uniform. They all stood in front of the grave and saluted him. So would you accord somebody who's supposedly guilty of a coup all these accolades? So Mutuma said, I didn't know all this. I told him, but your paper covered the burial. Why would a journalist here write a story about the general having been fired, yet the same newspaper was on the ground covering the burial? All these things. Somebody here is being very lazy. Go to the
Archives
and you pick it. So that's the story of the general and the coup and government. And what happened is he maintained a low profile. In Sultan Ahmed, he was a chairman of 1 or 2 schools, did his best to develop those schools. He was asked to be the chairman of the Forces Memorial Academy, which was started here at the Air Force Base in El Sili, and he declined. Moi Forces.
Yes.
And he declined. I actually was his driver when he went in for that meeting, because my kid brother David was in that school. So I drove him there, and they went and he refused. He said no, because he had other schools at home, and he was more passionate about supporting the schools that needed help. He felt Moi Forces it could pick so many people to be chair who were urbanized, and they had support from the Air Force, they had funding. He would rather help a school in the rural areas that does not have access to funding, and he did support 2 or 3 schools, made sure they got generators for power, boreholes done by Davis and Shetcliffe. He would rather help where he felt his help was really needed. So he declined this. So all this wouldn't have happened if that purported narrative that was sold. And there have been many conversations over the years by people who purport to have been close to him, who purport to have worked with him, including his immediate successor, General Mulinge, who tried to cast aspersions on Mzee. The tragedy is that all these stories came up after Mzee had died. Nobody dared say a word when he was alive. Nobody dared. And I recognized that some of this was fiction because when Moi ascended to the presidency, we started getting invitations, National Day celebrations, garden party invitations. And I would drive Mzee to Uhuru Park. He's been invited by the president, and I would drive him to State House, garden party.
Oh, so by the time Moi is coming in, your father is already out.
Yeah, he was out in 71. Moi came in 78.
Wow. And already Moi
knew him.
There's a photo I have with...
Yes.
In fact, this one on the screen now.
Yes, and Humphrey Slade.
Yeah.
Yes, the speaker.
And also there's just for humor,
yes.
Tell the story of the other photo with the lion. I'm like, what's going on?
So this is the ranch in Sultan Hamud. Mzee buys a ranch, cattle ranch from a white settler, AFC loan, which I finished paying with my mother in the 90s. And in the dry season, the lions would leave the park to chase the cows, which are easier prey. So they would invade the ranches. So that photo you see is a lioness that was shot dead by the Kenya Wildlife Service officers, and it had the cubs, and one cub was alive. So that cub was surrendered to the Kenya Wildlife Service, the orphanage here. So he opted to take a photo before handing it over. So we had an interesting life. We lived with guns, and we would hunt impala and what have you as kids.
On a more, first of all, there's a saying that says, if the hunter tells the story of the hunter comes out as a hero.
Yes.
So I really like the fact that you've told your side of your dad's story.
Yes.
That's for honoring him for that.
Yes.
But also, it's the factual truth.
Yes.
From the horse's mouth. You've got this firsthand as orators.
Yes.
But as you've shared this story, then there's something for me that there's a what if. And we're going to take a break and then you come in. Actually, no, just say it now. What was the discontent between or within the country that even the thought of a coup is bubbling under within the country? Let me not even say the barracks. Like, what's that discontentment?
That oath-taking rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And that, plus there appeared to be tribal matrix of security networks, people who were being promoted quickly from a certain community, so that it's like Commissioner of Police Kikuyu, GSU Commandant Kikuyu, the stock theft unit Kikuyu. So the only person you have at the helm who's not Kikuyu is the army boss. So there was all that. There was a lot of agitation going on, and the tragedy was people are seeing. Those are things you can't hide. So there was discontent, and then don't forget Oginga Odinga has fallen out with Jomo. Don't forget there's shooting in Kisumu. People are shot dead. The president is exiting the town because they're stoning the presidential motorcade. So there was clear bad blood developing. And
this bad blood is clearly tribal.
It is tribal.
What about classism? Has it checked in? Is there now is the elite within the African? You could be feeling it.
Yes, it is, and that is why the Kiambu Mafia were saying what the things they were saying. They were called Kiambu Mafia. Yeah, they're looking at these Nyeri guys as, we're the elite. We're the ones. Who are you guys? Who are you guys? And we're the ones in power. We're the ones close to the presidency. This power is not leaving us.
Man.
And that is, and it's important that we're talking about this, because that is the architecture of Kenya. What am I saying? The president of Kenya at independence appeared to get very wealthy by the time of his death in 78. At independence, and when he left Kapenguria, he was not a wealthy man. He was not an architect. He was not an engineer. He didn't have a trade you could say that he leveraged government contracts to become wealthy. So the trappings of office and what the office can do for you. And he became wealthy. Now, you have kids. If you tell your daughter, smoking is bad for your health, you're puffing away, she will say, yes, daddy, to respect you, but she'll be curious because you're smoking. So we keep saying corruption is bad and everything, but daddy is corrupt. So what are you telling me? And I'm seeing daddy enjoying life.
My God.
2002, fast forward, who was vying for the presidency? Those of us in the cluster saw raw money. We saw what money could do. So you tell me, if I'm a politician, and I've seen what we've been able to do, what the Kenyattas can do, what does it mean for me as Ndolo, who is interested in politics? I get even close to that seat. I'll try and perfect what they've done because my son could be president. Yes, I could bankroll his presidency. And that is the architecture that has gotten us to where we are, where you get into office and you're going to use office to grow. Now, we're all human. If you're given the opportunity Jomo was given or I'm given, I would probably do the same thing. So let's not sit here and be holier than thou. It's important.
Yeah.
If I was in Jomo's shoes, I'd probably be just as wealthy as he was because these opportunities present themselves. But there are those like Oginga who wouldn't do that, didn't do that. Okay? So the question we must be asking ourselves as a country is how do we allow those who want to amass wealth to do it outside from office and to allow those who want to lead to get into office and lead us? So how do we make that distinction? How do we get there? Because the architecture is all wrong. And that's why we are where we are.
It's so wrong. And it set the precedence. So everybody else who's come after has seen the mode.
Exactly.
Has seen the version in which.
Exactly.
To become, we throw this word billionaire like it's 300 G's.
Let me even tell you now, my generation, when we were in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, and we heard so-and-so is bankrupt and he was a minister, we'd think he's a fool. How could you have been a minister and you're bankrupt? How? You had power. What is the biggest crime Kalonzo is accused of? Not taking a road to Mwingi. He didn't misuse his office, so he didn't go to a road, so he's a poor leader. He's a poor leader. Where's Weka Barabara Kwako?
Wow.
Now, people point fingers at William Samoei Ruto. Hey, this guy's corrupt. What and who is William? How did he grow up? What's his background? What were the examples given to him? Who are the people he looked up to?
Who mentored him?
So how are you, what do you expect him, what do you expect him to do? He's member of parliament. What do you think he's going to do? And this guy is brilliant. He's a genius. Work ethic is up there. Of course he's going to get wealthy. Because that's the architecture. That is who we are. That is who we have built. So how do we move away from this? In my very humble opinion, it's about institutions. We've got to stop making this about individuals. It's got to be about institutions. We are almost there. Today, the president will make an utterance and he will be faced in court and the courts will rule against him. So we are halfway there.
Yep.
We have independent institutions. Yes, you can rubbish them, but we do have independent institutions. The whole Kalau election was put together. IEBC did the job and they declared the winner. Yeah?
And we respected what the IEBC has said.
And let's remember that next year. Let's not turn around because we've lost and say, no, you see now, when it suited us, IEBC was good. So let's remember that in the elections. So the architecture of Kenya was wrong for whatever reason.
Wow.
It was wrong. The tribal matrix was wrong. And we inherited it. We just didn't change it. The estates in Nairobi were tribal. You go to Kaloleni, it's a particular tribe. You go to Bahati, it's a particular tribe. You go to Ofafa Maringo, and that was the British separating. Yes. That's how they did it.
Segregation.
You just need to look at the 47 counties which were initially districts. Look at the borders. Why would you have a district where this is Kiambu, this is Kangundo, these are Kambas and Kikuyu? Why doesn't it traverse? Why does that border cross and this one cross? Because that was the way the British governed us. The only way they could govern us.
Divide and conquer.
Because they are all the way in Britain. How many whites are here? So if we just team up, they're out. There's nothing they can do to us. So the only way they govern is by splitting us. So they look at the prominent leaders in your community, they pull them to the table, give you a taste of the cake, taste of the good food, bow tie and dinner and what have you, and gloves, and with your wife in pearls, and you love it, and you're one of us.
They give you some good English.
And you're one of us. And then you become a member of a private club, and those Africans can't join. You're there with us. And so you colonize your fellow black, courtesy of the white man teaching you how to colonize them. And you amass wealth at the cost of your black brothers, and it doesn't matter because, that's the architecture. And it's well done. It's very, very well done.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I've got to give them that.
Yeah.
How a minority would be able to conquer the majority.
And woe unto you, Patrice Lumumba, woe unto you if you try to introduce fairness, equity. Woe unto you if it is not crafted by them. Then they will engineer. And the media and who will be managed. And now that has transitioned to who we are. There is no secret that the mainstream media are not friends to William Ruto. It's not a secret. Somebody asked me a question the other day and I couldn't answer him. He told me, "You are Uhuru's friend." I said, "Well," he said, "No, don't be shy. We know you. You are a Jubilee Advisor Council. You worked for Uhuru. When Uhuru was doing those things, it was okay. But now Ruto is doing them, he's bad. Nyinyi ndo mharibu Kenya." I said, "Hey, calm down, guys." I said, "No, you." Because he was a guy who was ODM. Very close to my brother. My brother was ODM Damu. They didn't believe in Uhuru. Yet he was insane with Uhuru. So this guy was telling me, I told you, that guy you were telling us is no good. Look at what he's done. Now, Ruto was good in 2002. Ruto was good in 2013. Ruto was good in 2017. Ruto is bad in 2022. When did they discover he was bad? When he was backing them? Or now when they're done with him? This guy is telling me off like I'm Uhuru's brother. I'm like, come on, guy. He says, "No, you bure nyinyi." And because he had always argued with me. When I was in Jubilee Advisory, he argued with me. He met me at the Galleria and had presidential badge and presidential agent, IEBC badge. I was going to bomb. I said, "You're with these people?" He's ODM. I said, "Yeah." He says, "Have you talked to your brother Steve?" I said, watch out on your siasa. He told me, "No. Who are these guys you're backing? These are the black colonizers." And he went on and on and on. But when I listened to him, and in hindsight, there were some things that he said that were interesting. Because he asked me, when did William Ruto become bad? Was he bad in 2002? No. Was he bad in 2013? No. Was he bad twice in 2017? Because we were returned to the ballot in 2017? No. So he became bad in 2022 when he wanted to be president. Is now, my guy, UK is telling us, "This man, be careful. I'm warning you." He's a bad man. And then my guy, UK, crosses over and becomes chairman of Azimio, abandons his party. President sitting in office, abandons Jubilee to back a presidential candidate who essentially has been an opposition leader against his deputy. And you're thinking, what is so great? A fight. If Uhuru could forgive Raila, why can't he forgive Ruto? What is it? What is this painful thing Ruto has done to Uhuru? So some will say, this guy is a son of a peasant. And this is a prince. You have to listen to the prince. Who are you? How dare you? How dare you? You must listen and we tell you. It's not your turn. Oginga takes it, then it's your turn. So when I see one-term movement. And I say, look a little deeper. Ask yourself, what is a fight? What is so major a fight? If Uhuru could forgive Raila, why couldn't he forgive Ruto? What is the fight? And I want you to think about that. Because we saw Uhuru shake hands with Raila. I was in that formation 2013. Hey, he was calling me Kimodo, microphone. Kimodo, Muchawi, Buganga. And then they shake hands. And they form government. They don't just shake hands. He brings people and they become cabinet. Fast forward, we saw the entry of Mutahi Kagwe. We saw the entry of William Kabogo. After some visit to Gatundu. So what is this bitterness? I thought there was something that was cobbled.
Let me wheel you.
Yes.
Because now we are getting there.
Yes.
But where I want to take you back to.
Yes.
And I like my layman selves. Me, I'm the danda.
Yes.
I'm the guy who needs to be explained to this thing like a nursery kid.
Yes.
And if I get it, the others behind me are getting it.
Yes.
I've got it all the way until Odinga has left. The other guy has left, the guy with Masai blood. What's his name?
Murumbi.
Now let's introduce this third guy.
Daniel Toroitich.
Arap Moi.
DTM.
Let's take a break. We're coming back to introduce this guy.
Yes.